Thank you to all of you who have submitted your quizzes. There's still time. I think there's a couple of you who still have to submit your quiz on linear systems. So today we'll move on to the quadratic linear system. Now be prepared. The worst case scenario, you'll have a quadratic, like example number 1, y equals x squared plus 5x minus 17. You're asked to solve algebraically, so you'll set it equal, or simply substitution to the line y equals x minus 5. But the worst case scenario, when you do that, you might be faced with solving with the quadratic formula. We might face that, but not for today. First of all, just to get you back into shape, into thinking about working with quadratic linear systems, we'll solve by using algebra, setting the two equations equal to each other. Now when you solve, I'm not sure if you can tell my different colors, but I wanted to combine like terms, and I like to keep my x squared term positive. Whenever I try to factor a quadratic equation, I like to factor the a value being 1. If it's negative, remember the trick, change all the signs, and if you can't factor out a GCF, you might have a factor by grouping, or also known as MFRT method. Quadratic formula works all the time, but luckily for this particular example, number 1, when I subtract x from both sides and add 5 to both sides, I end up getting a trinomial x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. That does factor. But remember, sometimes it does occur, we might have to use the quadratic formula. But go ahead, factor the trinomial, and you arrive at 2 answers for x. Oftentimes, students stop here like, hey, I've got an answer, I'm done. But remember, what we are doing, we're solving a system of equation. If you graphed number 1, the first equation would have been a parabola, and the second equation would have been a straight line. So at most, they'd intersect twice. And when they intersect twice, you have an ordered pair, right? Points. So stopping here at x equaling negative 6x equals 2 is incomplete. So don't forget, these are still ordered pairs. Take your time. It's very easy for you to go back to the line. But in theory, if you go back to either one of the 2 equations, you should be able to substitute and use your orders of operations to get your y value. So if you substitute in to the line, negative 6 minus 5 should give you a y value negative 11. And if you substitute in the 2 minus 5 would have given you a y value negative 3. Hence, these 2 are your solutions, your x, y's, for example, number 1. Hopefully this will ring a bell with you, and for an assignment for homework, I'll send you this sheet as well. Go ahead, try numbers 2 and 3. A good review, again, it's asking us to solve algebraically. I mean, those of you who have graphing calculator, if you want to graph on the graphing calculator to check your work, I don't mind, but it clearly does ask us to use algebra, so I want to review algebra skills with us. Send me questions if you have, and I'll take pictures and submit this also to us. Thanks.